ones that they gave up, because the slave trade went on for years, but some of the ones they cleaned out first, it's almost like, well, I got a responsibility for my people. You understand what I'm saying? So, if they're going to be anybody going to give up, we're going to clean out all the people who don't have a doggone home anymore, these alien people that was from East Africa. See where I'm coming from here? So some of the first people to get over here were the Egyptians, or the Canaanites. And through the whole course of the whole slave trade, they gave up a lot of these particular Egyptians, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes enough sense to know when the government comes in and takes all the books out of publication, period. That's some very, and then this brother in the book, and I should have brought the book, but I didn't have a place, a kind of thing to show you. He was literally showing you black women of the 1930s and Egyptian pharaohs, and I mean they were almost identical. But the key is we're still talking about an actual blood. You see what I'm saying? Because remember, I think the last time I was here talking about they found these particular hieroglyphics of a group of Native Americans reading and writing Egyptian hieroglyphics in Maine. And we also have the book, Ice, the Ultimate Disaster, Richard Noon's book that dealt with that, as well as he talked about this stela of Akhenaten. This stela of Akhenaten that they found in Oklahoma. With Akhenaten's hymns on it in Oklahoma. You see. So we talk about a connection here that is unbelievable. So we're actually talking about right now that the gathering that we're dealing right now, we're dealing with Canaanite people, as well as a consortium of West African, because we're not saying that we are all different types of Africans. We got a link there because even Diop traced the Wolof language from Senegal back to Africa, to Kemet, and shows the difference. So we talk about one people, but we're talking about a specific noble people of ancient Kemet that came over in the West, and we are the descendants of that, and that's probably why your particular root chakras or your heart chakras are open to even get this particular information right now. We are, because now, what this is actually saying, based on the Hermetic material, which most of us out of print, but now, with luck, you got Thrice Great Hermes, which is G.R.S. Mead's book, Thrice Great Hermes. That particular book is back in print, but the Kessler out-of-print book company did it. Came out in 1982, 92 for $50 and you didn't buy it. So now it's back in print. It's in the out-of-print format, but it's like $49. But in there they go into these group of Egyptians that will be in the new land in the last days, as well as the movie Highlander 1, where they talk about we are immortal and we have to literally roam around the earth until the great gathering in a land far away that's not yet built. You see, which is the new Camelot, which is here. That's why they keep calling, every 30-something years they call over here Camelot. They did it with the Kennedy, and now they're doing it with the whole Clinton thing, the new Camelot. That's Masonic. So the key is these extremities, they say, the extremities of Egypt will be in the West. That's us. And this is more proof to bear witness that we are those particular people, the most ancient of the people. You see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, why do they come to you? You see what I'm saying? But on the other hand, now, if we talk about that, we also talk about the Caribbeans, too. Because the first slaves didn't land here, they land in the Caribbeans, too. So we're talking about all the people of the Western Nile, the whole Caribbean thing, too. You see what I'm saying? Because you're also talking about, that's why you got your whole Bob Marley shit jump off the way it did. That's why most of your ancient Machumba, Bodun, Santeria, and all the other stuff that was cultivated in the Caribbean, which is your ancient science, also of African stuff that was preserved over there. So there's a history going on the whole time. That's why they had to cut the reggae out with that dance hall bullshit and give you Shabba, that bullshit. All science in this. You see, it's all science in this type of thing. You see, so even Lauryn Hill could be an extension of the whole Rasta thing, but I mean, they literally killed most. I'm talking about, this dance hall and stuff, So they're always doing something because they understand the real science on this thing, on what's actually going down. You see what I'm saying? But in actuality, this is also bearing witness that we are the actual ones also too. So now you saw them open up this whole tomb about a week ago, 2 weeks about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They opened up this whole tomb and all this type of thing here. But if you notice with Howard, who is a government man, to make sure that he refutes anything spiritual, it's all about somebody being buried. And you don't understand that this man is a government agent that they put over there in 88 to do that to anybody that comes up with other science on this. He can refute it. That's his job. You see. But if you notice, the tombs that they showed, if you looked on the walls, they had literally brown, dark brown, black figures. And they were just talking and shit. They was not even mentioning this. Now, if you know if there was some crackers on the wall, they would say, yeah, they look like they're from Spain or Russia. You see what I'm saying? And all this. But it was also talking about your boy, because of the whole Education Society and all them are looking to try to get into this space based on this Hall of Records. You see. Edgar Casey, when he wrote the stuff down, by him not being an advanced occultist, he couldn't understand that it was a metaphysical thing that's going down. The Hall of Records is in the Black Dot. The Akashic Records is the Hall of Records. The Sphinx just represents your nature. You see what I'm saying? So they're talking about the Hall of Records, and they say it was under some of the paw of the Sphinx. Well, if you got to understand on metaphysics, your feet also represents wisdom or standing upright. You see what I'm saying? Or standing on firm ground also, too. So this whole thing, basically, what they're talking about here, literally, the Hall of Records they're looking for, there ain't no Hall of Records. The Hall of Records is inside of you. That's the Akashic Records. Or it is called the Book of Records in the Book of Revelations. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the mysteries on that particular Hall of Records. But they misconstruing it, thinking it's a literal Hall of Records. You see? That's just like Rabuni, Dr. York literally got this, the whole thing based on this barotheric gland that I talked about. He literally got that from Zachariah Sitchin's work. But Zachariah Sitchin in 1978, the white book, the Jews said, we want to get some mystical shit to try to put ourselves in history. So these people, history is a lie agreed upon. So these people literally go in and write themselves in history, then they're going and write themselves in this mysticism. You see, all of this type of thing. The key is, they paid this man and they paid him millions of dollars to pay for his research to go and give you those Earth Chronicles. And although they are good books, he's literally writing this particular stuff for his own race of people. He even said it in Philadelphia. So when he comes to this thing, he talks about the barotheric gland, which is this gland that the ancient gods used to have, that the other gods removed. That's bullshit. Etheric just means ether. And ether is actually talking about the dark substance. And the etheric gland, a barotheric gland, is nothing but the pineal gland. But they say it's removed, but then again, he's telling the truth because he's talking about his people. So when he says this and stuff, you got to realize he's writing for his people. So when he's saying it's removed, it was never there because it's calcified. Or the ancient people who put them together literally could have removed that. You see, and they're literally reporting on a part of their history. You see what I'm saying? Based on gene splicing and all of that type of thing also too. What it's going to say is these particular people write this stuff and they misconstrue the actual science. Now, this is one of the keys. I don't know if the brother's in here because see, this Ethiopian brother spilled the beans to me about a month ago. I don't know, did I tell you about that? I think it was right after I saw you all. He came over and all, you know, they got a younger generation of Ethiopian brothers, and one thing now, if you got to get into the damn hip hop on this shit. This damn hip hop, if it ain't doing nothing, it's unifying motherfuckers around the world. Cause goddamn it, everybody 20 or 19, that shit is like glue. So which used to be this particular time when you had these separate people, you got these Ethiopians come over, they fall right into the hip hop shit. Big pants, the whole 9 yards. So he, motherfucking, you know, ragamuffin, hip hop. So he down with the cause. And from that, he started dealing with the Rasta thing. So from that, he even got an aspect of the consciousness, but it was through the music. So you see, so if you want, this is the shit that's going on universal. Anytime you see goddamn Chinese, Japanese people braiding their hair doing that shit. But my point is by him being there, he wasn't like the other ones that came over a couple of generations before and won't tell us shit. So he comes and spill the beans. He said, look, when we are young children, the white man comes over there and show us films on you. You've already heard this before. The propaganda thing and show us how you all are dangerous and savages and all this type of thing. It's a big thing all around the world. And now they can help out because they got Master P in the motherfuckers backing this shit up. And this juvenile nigga, you hear this motherfucker here? Huh? Now come on, man. You don't have to be, you can be 10 and get past that bullshit. But then again, that's government propaganda. You see this nigga, I started to buy the magazine to show you the magazine, man. This Negro is on the magazine, man. And he got just these old cheap man, this nigga look like he Black Davis got that nigga on electric shock. But see, what you don't realize is they got that shit in Sweden, in France. They take them to the continent. See, that's the reason why they got these shits. Quincy Jones and all that shit, man. It's all a part. That's what Fox is. So they got the, like the woman said, the niggas is wearing too much clothes and the women ain't wearing none. They done reverse that shit. You see what I'm saying? And so they got all, so little Kim, she ain't been out in a while because she had to get a new set of titties and shit. So now she got her new titties, she can go and record. And they pumping this thing, man. They pumping this thing, man. But my point is, it's an image. So they got this juvenile nigga, man, and they pumping this thing, so it's not hard. I mean, we fall and prey to this thing now because we have become all the stereotypes that used to be not true in the future, in the past. Excuse me, we've become that now. All through somebody literally telling you how to think and promoting that bullshit. That's why MTV, who used to then put black people on this shit, around 1988 said, no, we're going to start putting it on there because we're trying to promote this, promoting the whole crack image. So in order to put the people on crack, pump it on the TV and stuff to educate people about it as far as, so therefore when you have a person on crack, you won't go, wait a minute, something's wrong here because you are a person that never would be on crack. But because it's so common now, you just take shit. You see what I'm saying? So my point is all these, even with the rap, because they even had a sophistication of the rap they done forced underground, and now you got this juvenile nigga. You see? So they pumping this thing and all, but what the brother was saying, the brother spilled the beans. The brother said, look, he said, they come over here and they show us these pictures and they paint you as savages and all that. Now my point is I've talked about this before, we know that propaganda all on the continent. We know that's the propaganda that they do all on the continent. But then again, it's beautiful sometimes to have a person actually literally bear witness to it. So the last time I heard somebody bear witness was a Nigerian, was 19 years ago when I was a freshman in college. You see what I'm saying? This thing and all, you know what I'm saying? But he was only saying that shit because he trying to get used to this freshman. So, you know, so he came clean and all, and that nigga, you know, was dangling that shit in that nigga face. Whatever this girl this nigga wanted and stuff. So he came clean based on that shit. Sad, but true. But the point is, that ought to let you know how messed up some people is, because when they get over here, they don't see everybody that way. Out of 30 or 40 years, you can't get a people that come to their senses and go, hey man, these people over here running some shit on you. You mean to tell me out of all of them, nobody can come in? I mean, I gotta get this 19 years apart. When this brother and this breakdown, I see these people all the time and they're going, hey, you mean to tell me, you know what I'm saying? You see black people out here, you know all black people ain't that way. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, like I say, the government is trying to reinforce this every day. Especially downtown, like I say about these panhandlers and shit, man. They taking these Negroes, they take them out the crazy house every Friday. Now, anybody saw this nigga down at the Lenox Square Mall, he have a broke leg. Nigga have cash on for 4 years. Cash is just dry rotted. If he did the wrong turn, that shit would just break down like that Forrest Gump movie and shit. But I'm trying to say this is the science that's going on because these things are deliberately doing it because even at the paper, see, they're always talking at the paper. They say, we got it now the way we want it. We done got all these other people migrated into the infrastructure, all these white yuppies. Back and they're all around you. They're on this street right here. We should be all black with the laws. So we just got to take care of it. We got to get rid of them Negroes around 5 points. So now the Marta police already told me. He said, said, no, he said they get ready to take the buses from down 5 Points. Because, you know, other than just be a train station, but they got all the buses around. That's the thing. They're going to move them someplace else. And you will have to go some obscure places, take the bus. They have a little rally and stuff. Give you some fucking free brick of cheese. You know, a concert. You know what I'm saying? Give you that old nigga got caught screwing puppy cones on. That nigga got caught screwing puppy cones on. Frank. Yeah. Yeah. I told you, all that whole Hollywood shit is all a secret society. So he got caught with his wife screwing puppy cones in Leo. That's right. So puppy was screwing Hemmitt Smith. That's right. That's right. That whole shit is Freak Central. I'm the nigga that tell it. Telling you. You don't get up there, man, now unless you got something on somebody, man. They don't even roll out the yard part of it. That's a secret society. So you know a nigga come up there and all they're gonna do it now unless you really gotta fight. They might let a few of them fall through the cracks. But man, this puppy, this nigga got down with Princess Fergie. This Fergie went to his party. Donald Trump, all this elite crap. He in the cut. He probably doing all kinds of freaky shit. You know what I'm saying? All kind of crazy. I mean, unimaginable stuff. You know he got to be this. He just take the damn voice off the record and put a person on it and get paid money. They can do it. That ain't no producer. All a part of the hookup. All a part of the hookup. But going back to what I'm saying, with this particular science based on downtown and all this type of stuff, they get ready. This is what it is. There's a whole whitening of America. I saw it in Chicago. I'm seeing it everywhere. And this is the key right now. But they can do this because they've already wiped out the underclass. That's the key.
We got 2 minutes.
Because Atlanta is 60% black. So, 75% black or 80% black, it used to be. You couldn't win no election down here if you was a white man. For the mere fact that you can go to bed and a white boy win the Fulton County Commission is telling you they've already taken over. It can't be done. What it is what they're not telling you is the numbers are lower than what you think it is. But as Jericho's becoming a system that you in your car, on your job, go get your food, and back to the house. You got Blockbuster on the way or whatever. It's not a system that you interact with people on a daily basis. The only interaction you got is with your TV set, which lies all the time. You see, so what it is for the mere fact that they can do that, let you know that they're getting ready, they're taking this whole thing back, and this is all over. But the key is not so much, because they've been talking about a relocation plan since the 70s. It's not that. The key what I'm trying to make is that we are underpopulated as black people. And all right, because the only people that they literally left alive is some of your upward mobile. The upward mobile doesn't necessarily mean college educated. It means functional. You got certain people graduate high school and they always was functional. They motherfuckers was awesome workers. And you know, shit, niggas the one that hooked up. And they're just good workers and they're functional and they always do good. So they train your mind to think that the only way you can do good is based on the education bullshit. We were the people that you know, was doing good long before that. You see, but my point is, we're talking about, but that particular part of the society is. So these are the people you were seeing out here. Most of them they done got rid of, and then you seeing a few little stragglers on there. A lot of that is also programmed. Like I say, they got them living up under the ground over there on Cascade. You go to Cascade, I guarantee you, they're always digging up under the ground. Now, like I told you, in front of my apartment complex, they dug up under the ground. They dug up under my apartment complex for a year. Somebody's going to take them and they're going to fix some sewage and they go over here and close the hole up a year later. Then go down the street and start digging up again. And sure enough, as soon as we moved, I told you I was going to move, we moved the other week. Sure enough, right there at the beginning of my street, they started digging on that shit too. We moved everything Sunday. got to get rid of this shit. So I've already seen the blueprints for downtown. It's going to look just like Broadway. All that, when they build this new army, all that's going to be Broadway. It's going to be hooked up. But in order to do that now, they got to get rid of the Negroes, but how they do it is that they got to put the ones out there fucking with you. Now, I don't care what you say. I've been on the streets, and I know for a fact, as far as I've been on these boys, walking around these streets and observing things for a while because I'm conscious, and I'm telling you, 3 years ago, they didn't have that many bombs. The bombs they had, you see them all the time, you knew them. Like the Picture Man down there by Blockbuster and the Kroger. You know Picture Man, can't call up for shit. But you knew them. They got several ones you know. They be around there and all, but they was the same ones. Those was your institutionalized neighborhood-friendly bombs. The ones they got now is a whole brand new crew every week. And it looked like people that used to look like they had this shit together at one time. Strange shit going down. But then again, on the other hand, they done annoyed us so much that you don't even want to analyze. You want to get these niggas out of here because, I mean, it's like every block. Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Like one brother steps up Friday. Yo, man, my car just broke down in the middle of the street. I need some gas money. I said, I ain't got it, brother. I said, brother, the key is, if you got a broke down car, you're supposed to go near your car and boom around the area where your car is so you can show a motherfucker your shit. From when the nigga say his car broke down, he 4 blocks up the street. Man, that's a need gas money. I said, man, you ain't got the rudiments right if you was really doing it. But I know he was lying. I knew he was lying. But they got a new game I'm not just talking about one a day, I'm talking about every block. And it's the first time I know it's got to be some science to it, and these are robots and clones, because they run up to a white person with no shame. Niggas used to have a shame about them. You know what I'm saying? Nigga kill you right now for putting his shit out. You lie, talking to me. But how the hell you gonna run to a cracker? I mean, like, something, but it's all designed. It's very key that you understand that. This thing is all designed. Now, you remember I was telling you about the city in Africa that they built? And I told you that we also had a sister, they built this state-of-the-art city, and I also told you we had a sister from Kenya that backed that up, that they can't go so far in Africa, and they got this particular city. And then it came to me what this thing is. If you want to see how it looks, you get any documents on Adolf Hitler, any documents, there's some stuff called Hitler, it's called Hitler the Whole, Adolf Hitler the Whole Story. And on there you will see his 1,000-year city that he was supposed to design, and he had the chief architect, Albert Speer, with him, who did the models. And when you see, it's awesome now. It's based on some Camite, Egyptian, and Greek, and Roman stuff. It's some bad stuff now, because it's all occult stuff. But they had this city that he was supposed to build. Germany was supposed to be the headquarters in this new 1,000-year city of 1,000 years. They took the same blueprint, and that's the one they got in Africa right now. So if you want to see how the city look, you got to get it's called Adolf Hitler, the Whole Story. The document, you can get them from on Blockbuster. Just go rent it if you can, and try to find out or either get any books on Albert Speer, which was his chief architect. He had a book called Inside the Third Reich. And just go to the Hitler section in any of the bookstores. You don't have to even buy it. And just look up and see, can you find this futuristic architecture which he was supposed to build this city. That's the one that they built this whole thing with. This whole city out of, in Africa. You see what I'm saying? That's the one they built this whole city out of in Africa. Let's go on. Now, this is the key on what's happening in the occult world, because we're moving right along. A lot of the books that you see in the occult bookstores, what you call metaphysical bookstores, they started releasing a lot of them in the 1990s. Now, there's two systems, and they're not telling you this so they understand there's two systems. There's the left-hand path and the right-hand path. Most of the particular systems are based on the right-hand path. The left-hand path is called your dark mysteries and your dark sciences. If you go back beyond 1990, the early 80s, and the 70s, you will find just as much stuff on the dark hand, the left-hand path, or the dark mysteries as you can the right-hand path. It's just that when they release these particular books, they're only putting the right-hand path in there. And that's what your boys Deepak Chopra and all them is about. And all these so-called gurus. Now what it is this here. The left-hand path, you don't get most of the dark grimory and stuff like that because in actuality, that's the only real stuff. I'm going to get into the science on tonight on what's really going down. The right-hand path that you call spirituality is all used up. It is only pertaining to this particular universe A, which is way out. That's the right-hand path. It's all used up. The left-hand path is the stuff talking about universe B, which is your dark stuff, and that's the stuff that I'm dealing with these particular times, is the stuff in a world to come. In a world to come. That's why, if you die right now, don't go to the light. Stay away from the fucking light. Just go to your Bible. Listen. It's right in your Bible. The Bible says that Christ, whether you believe it's one person, whether you believe it's a nation of people, or an extreme, a remnant, they call it the remnant, is supposed to, even with the 144,000, which is a symbolic number. It's not literally 140, but it's not talking about the whole earth population. But a remnant is supposed to do what they are supposed to establish the kingdom on earth. So if there's a certain light that is before the kingdom is established, because we ain't in the kingdom, we catching hell right down here. We're the ones that's supposed to establish the kingdom. So if there's a light or a kingdom that is before the establishment of the kingdom in all world scripture, that's got to be the false one. So if you go to the light, that's a trick. And what you do, you go to the light and they snap you and you're born right back down in a reincarnation cycle into the same book. The key is to go to the darkness, but that's where the people are. That's where the new kingdom, because it's going to be a new birth out of the darkness. You see? So most of the actual books and stuff you're getting is on the right-hand path. You see? You see? And that's a thing that's already used up. We're going to get into that as we go on. So some of you, to break this thing down so you'll understand what's really going down in this particular, with this particular time as we go on. Now, I don't know if I brought it. Did you bring that thing you talked, it was on the internet, the Melanin Plus thing?
No, I don't have that.
Because on the internet, did you see this thing? It's on the internet. It's called Melanin Plus. They literally said that they have patented melanin. They have patented melanin, or they have patented the first sunscreen against ultraviolet rays. So what I'm saying is this about this. Since one thing, so it's no more, I've been saying these things a while about they've been eating our people. You know, you gotta watch out. You might go to sleep one night and wake up in some fucking meat sauce somewhere. So all that green is real shit. Based on, they're taking the melanin. But they got this thing here, but anytime you see that R, you see either the trademark TM or you see that R, that means the shit is patented. That means, in actuality, just like the Human Genome Patenting Project, which is a consortium of all the major colleges and universities that take the genes from indigenous people around the world and endangered species and patent them. Now, as you know, whatever city you go into, there's a white college somewhere in the black neighborhood. University of Chicago is in the black neighborhood. Is it with Southern Cal or UCLA? USC. Even places where niggas crackers don't have nothing to do with black people, but the colleges are in the black. Columbia University is near Harlem. Temple. Yale University in the black community. Yale is ultimate Ivy League. That's the second top school there. Two top. What is fucking Yale doing in the black community? You see what I'm saying? Georgia Tech, your top shit. Techwood. Because the black, it was a case study for them, for based on the psychology, based on the medicine, and based on everything, they literally learn from your ass. And wherever you, University of South Carolina, they have some homes, it's everywhere you go in this country where they got a big population of black people, you got you got a white college that's in the bad community. All colleges, but mainly a lot of your white schools. So based on that, we also know based on this, they've already patented, I should have brought the thing, it's called Melanin Plus, it's on the internet, and they got an R on it. Which means that melanin is literally a patented product like ocean spray cranberry juice. Your ass, you know what I'm saying? So just like the chicken of the sea, tuna, Charlie tuna, motherfucking niggas ass is patented now. So when I saw this is real shit when they put that R up there. That means your ass is on the market. Which I told you the last time I was seeing how they the organ donor people called the sister over during Christmas and wanted to buy her skin. The sister that died wanted the organ donor people called and although they was getting the organs, they asked would the husband be interested in selling his dead wife's skin right before Christmas. Then they George Thursday said we want you to donate the organs. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about a hot commodity. Very key that you understand that right now. But it's on the internet, Melanin Plus. Somebody say it's a black race-based group, but I don't know. But either way, to even patent something means that your ass is for sale. Bottom line.
They spoke about that in the opening of the tunes about Mumia.
The Mumia, yeah, they sure right. They sure did on the tune. The Mumia, which is nothing but melanin. You see what I'm saying? Which is nothing but melanin. So now go back and get the movie Rollerball. Very key that you go get the movie Rollerball and study Rollerball. Because this whole shit with this sports, laughing around each other, is based on the Rollerball. But they say in the future, there ain't gonna be no the capitalism, everything gonna be run by one corporation. Well, it is run by the corporations now. You see what I'm saying? When they say, there won't be no wars, well, virtually there are no wars. And they say, won't be no crime. There is no crime. They manufacture most of the crime out here. If there was a lot of crime, you would see all kind of other kind of people like Jews, Hispanics, and all kind of other people going to jail every day. You see. Now they say they arrest 145 people a day in Atlanta. Now that got to be wrong. They say that they put 145 people a day in this jail right over here. Yet they say the damn occupancy, the jail cell can only occupy 2 people. It was 1 person to a cell. So now wait a minute now. Somebody add that 145 times 7. Somebody got a calculator? Or whatever. Some of you all got it. You can get it right off the bat and stuff, whatever the deal is. And how much is that a week? 1,015. What? How much? 1,015. 1,015 a week times a month, which is 4 weeks. What you got? 4,000. And then there's no way in hell in 365 days. There's no way in hell they can do that. But what they're telling you is they're literally arresting 144 people a day. They're just not putting 144 people a day in these jails. They're getting rid of these damn niggas. This was on the Channel 5 News last Saturday. So they're picking them up. You see what I'm saying? They're getting rid of them. And so my point is 145 people don't even commit that much crimes a damn day. That's bullshit. They literally rolling up on niggas and picking them up if you fit the profile or if you can't be countable, which means you are not functional. If you are an alienated person, we'll get into that also too. So the movie Rollerball is based on the corporations, and the whole key is based on everybody's into this game, and that's the main thing. Well, it's a brutal sport where they kill people. Well, they kill people in football, boxing, and everything else. Main people. But the key is everybody is into this sport. That's the main function. Well, if you go and you look at that now, you think it's futuristic. You don't understand it. That's what's going down now. Everybody's in where football is the Super Bowl is the biggest thing that in America. There's nothing in America bigger than the Super Bowl. Think about it. In one day, there's nothing in America bigger than the Super Bowl. Nothing. Not even the Olympics. The key is, when you go see the Rollerball movie, you will see that the corporations is running everything, but the key is, they got one superstar that he supersedes the average player. He's such a superstar until he's on the minds of everybody, and then the guy calls him in and says, we want you to retire. Why did they say we want you to retire? Because see, everybody is such an individual. See, but everybody is on such a zombie state until they can't have a person that supersedes everybody else, because that becomes the Messiah. And to register into Jonathan and break that it can break the whole system of what the government got everybody else into the same, this same hook. So the key is, he was becoming a Messiah-like person, and they say they tried to get rid of him, and at the end of the movie, they was even trying to kill his ass. You see what I'm saying? But it's you got to go see that movie, Rollerball, because it's got a lot to do with what's going down now. Then you got to go read the movie, The 18th Angel. The 18th Angel. And they talk about in this movie about how they talk about the last days, and you'll know the last man be able, when man is able to reproduce himself. To reproduce himself. It's called the 18th Angel, when man is able to reproduce himself. Based on the 18th Angel and all. And get that movie, as well as a lot of other things up in there too, based on the whole Lucifer thing, but I'm going to get into that when I go on into science, and I'm going to get into that particular part even more. Get the movie Shadow Builders. Bram Stoker's Shadow Builders. Get the movie Bram Stoker's Shadow Builders. Because in that movie, you're going to find out how melanin works. And anytime you hear the word shadow, that's melanin. So, the energy inside of our bodies, if you're going to find out how it works, you're going to actually literally find out this movie. In the movie Bram Stoker's Shadow Builders, the movie, as far as one that we're dealing with. Now, remember I was talking about this Viagra? And I was telling you that the Viagra, they was putting melatonin in the Viagra. And that's what was getting these damn crackers dicks on the hard and stuff. But, you see, and now the women is taking it. But it's melanin. Now I was saying that was interesting, because I was telling them that up in Chicago when one brother had just, and he said he'd heard it on the news also. He was saying that they got a new kind of Viagra out now. It's going to make the other one obsolete, and it's called Melanin 1. Melanin 1. Which is this new kind of Viagra. So this is bearing witness to what I was telling you when they put the melanin. Because I just got experience. I said, well, they put melanin in that shit. But I also know the pineal gland and the whole function with the ding-dong and the pineal gland and all that. So when the brother said this, it was like music to my ears when he said it's called Melanin 1. So that let you know what this whole Viagra thing is. Because everything the last time, all the products in the store now, they're making a super atom out of it, and they put the melanin in it. So all of your sunscreens and everything, all of most of your health food shit that these crackers are leaving in the store is melanin induced. Just about % of all the health food in their stores is melanin induced. So what happened was, remember in 1993, the government stepped out and said, listen, we get ready to stop the vitamins. We're going to put a halt on the vitamins. But you know, most white people is into that stuff. So them crackers got, man, they said, we beat up, these crackers beat up, burnt down the damn country. So they can't force them with certain things. They got to do a lot of mind control to force them into a thing. They not outright and just come and force white people to do shit like that. They don't buy it like you. We've been beat down so much, we go, oh well, what the hell? I put a goddamn seatbelt on. You know what I'm saying? But white people, they got to take series of kids. Look at the kid all fucked up. Little Johnny nose cut off with no seatbelt. So then they'll come and put the law out. So they have to do years of propaganda to force them and stuff. But they just can't just outright just come and just tell a white person, you ain't doing this. These crackers will burn down the country. So when they told these crackers, we got rid of the vitamins in the fall of '93, they checked it over the summer and said, man, we're going to have problems with this. They said, okay, wait a minute, let all them fools that's into the health food thing, let them go. We're only interested in the masses people. So they say, okay, what we're going to do is we got to get the people faith back in doctors. So then they put on ER, Chicago Hope, LA Doctors. And they just didn't put on no Marcus Wells, some old-ass, crusty-ass cracker. They put on nice-looking crackers in black people. You know, niggas that, you know, you say, your white girl say, I can fuck him, I can fuck George Clooney. See? So they put on these nice-looking white people, and on Chicago Hope, they put on a younger crew. Not so young that you can't believe they're a doctor, but a nice-looking crackers, you know what I'm saying? Not no old-ass cracker, you know, Marcus Wells and shit. Or some old doctor, you know, old doctor from Gunsmoke. This shit. So they put on this stuff here, it's a mind control thing. Then all of a sudden they got ER, and they got all this particular stuff, and they got all these the movie City of Angels, this movie with your girl Meg Ryan, and they pump that shit to get people faith back into these damn doctors of death. They already knew they had niggas. You see, listen, black people, you know, they're going to the doctor in a minute. But these white people started getting smart. So to get the people faith back in there, that's why they started putting on all these doctor shows. See what I'm saying? That's the key on there. So the lawyers did their little shit in the early 80s, LA law and all this kind of thing here, to get the people back into the lawyer shit. You see, because the insurance company was saying, look, if you want some money, don't get the lawyer. Because the lawyer's going to take all. So the white people start catching on, so they got to put on all these shows. So that's so with the ER thing and all that is they say, well, we know they got a lot of white people into the health food industry, but for the masses, the ones that ain't, we got to still keep their minds and keep their faith in the particular doctors. And that's what they did based on all these doctor shows popping up. You see, before with the soap operas, General Hospital, and all that shit. But see, they died down, so they got everything is based on mind control and propaganda. On the way they do things. You got to understand what's actually going down and how they do things this particular way. Okay, let me show you some stuff. I got some stuff in the Old Testament that I want to deal with right now. First of all, go back and get the movie Duplicates. The movie Duplicates. Because they got Cicely Tysoners up in there, and they taking the memory out of dead people. They're taking dead people's memory and putting it in the live people and taking their memory from them. They got this technology now. That's what your whole Dark City was about. How they can mix these particular memories and build your shit. As well as Total Recall. But in the movie, the system broke down, and again, it's interesting when you go see them, or it's at the Blockbuster, Duplicates. Got that cracker used to play on, what's the name of that guy name? I can't think of his name right now. He used to play on that doctor show, used to come on Sunday nights back in the 70s, but I can't think of the name of that shit. Anyway, the movie Duplicates, the thing broke down when the guy said, because they went and got a regular citizen, or one of these regular white people, you know, the upper mobile, middle-class white people. And the guy said, didn't I tell you that you can't do it with those kind of people? You always got to get derelicts or alienated people from the society. Now, derelicts is bums or whatever, but alienated people is black people. Which means anything happens to a nigga, who gives a damn anyway? And then if the black people do holler, it ain't going to be but a week. But they said that in the actual movie. It's in the movie. You got to check the case study out on the actual movie. But they also say, but it's interesting because when Sister Tyson is saying something, the man comes and gets in her shit and say, I am your superior of the United States government. So they just didn't say, well, this is some bogus agency. They admitted that it's the government that's doing this stuff. Go back and check that movie out. I'll check that movie out again. So now in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18, you're going to see something called a fleece of wool. Remember I talked about the golden fleece? And the woolen fleece is actually melanin. I talked about that now. If you go get the movie Jason and the Argonauts, for the people that's never heard that particular thing again. This particular word is in the Bible. It's in, okay, also there's a book called, it's interesting because the Jews got an Old Testament that's this thick. Now remember, ain't this a bitch now? You got an Old Testament at the beginning of your New Testament in a book like this thick. Right? Yet the Jews got an Old Testament alone, some shit that they got from the ancient black man, this thick called the Tinkanut. The Tie T-I-N-K-N-A or something like that, the Tinkana. That's this thick. Even they got a Torah that's this thick. You see? So now ain't that something? You got two books in one that's this thick. And they got one book that's this thick of the Old Testament alone. You see? Now, in the Tinkana of the Old Testament, in Judges, I'm going to give it to you right in your face, so I don't want to hear no more shit about Jesus, no fucking In chapter 1, verse 34, you will see this word, H-A-R, H-A-R, then the next word, and it's right beside it, a slash, H-A-R slash H-E-R-E, Horus, which is Horus. Heru, that's the Christ figure of ancient Kemet. So what the hell is the pagan Christ? Well, we didn't know that the pagans had a Christ. What is the Egyptian Christ doing in the damn Old Testament? You see. In Judges chapter 1, chapter 1, verse 32, you're going to get this word A-S-H-E-R, Asher. That's Asar, because you got Asar, Asur, Asher. Anytime you see that word, that's Osiris. You're gonna get that in there also. Now, I'll show you another one. The word Kadesh. Anytime you hear the word Kadesh, you heard Kadesh. That word, there's an original word for the one. Kadesh, or Kadet, or Hadit, or Hutet in Egypt. These are other words, but in the Old Testament, it's going to be Kadesh. There's even in the ancient Kemet, got a temple, and on the temple of Luxor, they got the Battle of Kadesh, which is in the temple of Luxor. So you got that. That word is melanin, talking about the battle of your soul. We'll get into that also, but you will find that in there. In Judges, chapter 4, verse 13, you're going to find this word H-A-R-O-S. H-A-R-O is the first thing. S-H-E-T-H. That's Harrow Sheth. That means Horus Seth together. So you're going to get that word H-A-R-O-S-H-T-H. Harrow Sheth, which is Horus Seth. Right in the doggone Old Testament. Right in the Torah,
What was that?
Judges 4, verse 13. Also, Judges 4, verse 13, Judges 4, verse 12 to 16, you're going to get the word Barak, B-A-R-A-K, which also means, it's another word for Horus. Barak, then there's the word Harak, which means Horus of the Abyss, In Judges chapter 3, verse 10, you're going to get the word King Cushan, which means Ethiopia. Cushan means Ethiopia. Now, in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13, you're going to get this word Z-A-P-H-O-N. Now, this is the key right here. Z-A-P-H-O-N. That's a word that in Greek means typhon, that you know of as Satan. But guess what this thing says right here in Isaiah? It's called Mount Zephyr, or Mount Typhon in Greek. And guess what this thing says? The summit of the abode of the gods. Wait a minute now, ain't that something? It says that it's the summit of the abode of the gods. So now, wait a minute, I thought understand that Christ and Satan is one and the same. You got to understand this particular science if you're going to understand anything that's coming down. And we're not talking about nothing evil. We're taking out a destructive killer force that's coming that never was good in the ass. You know good is. It's just good for our ass. But like I said, the ancient Christ around the world, anybody can challenge me right now, other than Rome and this Jesus fellow, which is a Greek word, never taught love. Never. That's something new. Never ever. You can challenge me on right now. If you can find figure of the ancient world, you didn't know there was, for the people, I think we all advanced now. We passed the bullshit. It taught about love. It was always talking about killing. You see. Always talking about killing. I want to give you that right now for a few minutes. These are some old terms. I want to give you those particular terms right now. I want to give you something right now also, too. Go rent the movie Starship Troopers. Mm-hmm. And you got to rent this movie because they got so much action with some of the shit right now. The movie Starship Troopers. First of all, they are fighting a twin star. Is the double star Sirius, which is the star, the ancient star of ancient Egypt, the ancient star of the Quran, the ancient star of Bethlehem. They stopped it. That's us. Osiris, Sirius, Allah, the whole 9 yards. The particular people are called Clan Daftu. Daf is the spear of the Kabbalah, which means melanin. Daf. You get Darth Vader from that. You see what I'm saying? See, that's what they're gearing up to fight. This is your ass. The black and the red. That's a leg bar. Darth Ma'u, Dark Lord of Sith. That's Seth. That's you. Evil has a new name. They fighting your ass. Deep Black Man. In this thing, and that's why they had to come back out with this new star. Crucial time. We'll get into that in a few minutes. So it says Clan Daftu. The word Daf you find in the Kabbalah is the spear of Daf is melanin. So they're fighting melanin. Melanin is symbolized in Egypt as Kephra, the bug. And they're fighting. They say the Clan Daftu produces an unlimited supply of bug meteors. Look at my past lectures, I was telling you, the meteor, all through all this shit, it's the meteor. The meteorite, Armageddon, the meteor hitting Earth. Deep Impact, the meteor hitting Earth. They even had a movie called The Meteor. It came on, and the meteor is a subatomic substance that was around before the Earth was fashioned. We were around before the Earth was fashioned. That's why in the Bible they say the ones that we're going to say were the motherfuckers that were slain before the foundation of the earth, right in Revelation. Now, they say that they produce a bug-like. The bug is Kephra. You ever seen the picture of the scarab beetle? Bug-like meteor. A meteor is a composite that's talking about melanin. Time you see the meteor, it's talking about substance that is outside of the earth, and melanin has particles in you that is not only earth-bound terrestrial, but it's extraterrestrial, which means you have particles in you that is around before the earth, or like in X-Files, before the dinosaurs was here, that would literally replace man, using man as the host. That means that you're going to rise up and using man as the host, as your physical body is the host. Your soul inside is going to replace you and become that God. You know that. No caterpillar ever went into the cocoon to come out of caterpillar. It's a butterfly. So our stage as far as the physical body is over. That's why we fucking up every time you turn around. That's why you got to get more and more material shit to get pleased every time, because nothing seems to please you no more because your soul won't out. You see what I'm saying? So you got to go and do more things and put on more things based on an addiction just to keep an anesthesia to stay down in this bitch, because your soul wants out of this bitch. Get where I'm coming from here? You see. And bitch is a beautiful word. That means the dog stuff. Next time I want to call you a bitch. That's what they used to call the ancient priests in Hemmitt, bitches, which is talking about priestess of the dog stuff. You get the word bitch, you get the word bitch, you get the word witch or wicca. All that comes from priestess of the dog, so that's documented. I ain't even making this shit up. So bitch is good. So next time they call you a bitch, I mean, you wouldn't take the person calling you a That's good. See, if you eliminate something that's good, now you have to find a new word and stuff. You know, some words just don't do it. You know, like that nigga, the white man had nigga, and that hockey just don't cut it. It's still too light. Now, the cracker is like the best you can get. You know, it's hard to find a good white thing for white man. You know, the white person, white, no, that shit don't get you mad like nigga. You can say it all day. But cracker is about the best. Cracker about the best. You see what I'm saying? And even that ain't as piercing as nigga, but still yet, you know. But now, going back on. So the movie is talking about producing an ultimate, unlimited supply of bug-like medias, and that's why they say they had to go to war against this particular planet. So when they say they was going to war against a particular planet, they was talking about going to war against black people. You are the bug. Because they go and tell it, they say, well, they was operating on the bugs in a little classroom. You know how you cut off a frog. They said, oh, this shit here is advanced. It's been around since the beginning of time. What the hell is that as a nigga? Even roaches is brown. The Browner brothers. You see what I'm saying? Can't get rid of them. There's something. But then again, on the other hand, the ancient African did not separate himself from nature. That's how he learned how the hell he was. So it's something in the damn roach. He'll pass, well, fucking niggas pass too. Think about it. But I'm going to show you another thing also, too, when I get into the vampire thing. And I'll drop on this right now. Where there is water, there is roaches. That's the first thing they tell you in extermination. Where there's water, there's roaches. Okay? Our main key is water. We came to civilization and water. We are water people. Very key that you understand that when we get into this science. All right? Now, the movie explains the difference between a citizen and a civilian. In the movie, we're not citizens. We're property of the United States government. 3/5 of a human being still, too. They told you that at the Million Man March. You see. And the citizens are literally soldiers to the system of the government. Which means if it comes down to it, they will fight against the damn civilians. You gotta listen to what they're saying up in there. They're saying that anything given to you can never be respected. Talking about the welfare and all the entitlement programs. It's all in the movie. I'm like, this shit got to do with the bug thing. But it's in there. You see what I'm saying? It's in there. But the non-citizen is a person that is outside. It's like an alienated person outside of the loop. He's property. So a civilian is property. And they make it real distinct between most of these white people. They want to be civilians. They wanted to be citizens. You see. And each time they want to just chill on the beach, no, they want to go fight and get killed. You see. Very key. You see what I'm saying? They say that the bug can colonize the planet simply by throwing its spore into space. That's dark matter. Dark matter is nothing but melanin. It's throughout the entire space. You see what I'm saying? As you know, when your whole space shuttle goes up, when it comes down, they got to wipe all the melanin out of it and stuff. And even to the point where John Glenn failed the melanin test. Now, I wonder what that shit was about. But he couldn't go up because he failed the melanin test. You see what I'm saying? But, so they say that these people can colonize planets by throwing their spore into space. This is all in the movie. That's dark matter, which is from the mother Draconis, which you're going to get into. That's what the whole Dracula thing about. Lilith, Tiamat, are called Newt's Kiss, which is called Haddock, which is the black dot, which is inside of us, a subatomic nuclear point or particle. We'll get into that later on. The movie explains how white citizens, when it comes down to it, will fight against the civilians. In so many words. You see what I'm saying? Most of the army people, or most of the people in the particular uniforms in there that they started wearing was Nazi uniforms. Was Nazi uniforms. So you thought the movie was crazy. We go in the war, they fight the bugs, but the movie had a lot of science in it. But you got to go back and just listen to the conversation that's going down. You see. Then they say the only good bug is a dead bug. Now that terminology was used on two people in Native America. The Indians, Native Americans, and black people. they underestimated the bugs. Because they thought the bugs were stupid. It's like they think niggas are stupid. But the bugs were smarter than what they thought they was. So they had to go back and regroup. So what did they do when they go regroup? They kicked the white boy out, the black woman up there, and her name was called